Pasos. Pasos means steps, and steps for a mindful and a meaningful life is what I have in mind for this video blog. Today is our first transmission, and I am very excited, a little bit nervous, because this is the first time that I do something like this live. A couple of years ago, I had a podcast that was live, was only voice. It was called Pasos. The focus was different. The focus was on how to have mindful and well-being at work. But this blog is going to be different. This is going to be focusing on how we can bring mindfulness and meaning to our everyday activities. And my main goal is to have a space for reflection. I really want to have an opportunity to stop and think about how we live our lives, how we show up in our relationships, how we relate to the people that we love, and how do we manage relationships when we are under a lot of stress. My idea is every Monday to spend a few minutes with you, sharing some ideas, sharing some strategies, sharing some readings that I would like to invite to do with me, so we can have an exchange. So what I'm going to do is in my website, the Goldvarg Consulting Group, I'm going to have a space for my video blogs where I'm going to post the video blogs, and where I am going to have something in writing too, where you can write your own comments and your own ideas. At the same time, I am going to be posting this, I'm going to do some editing, and I'm going to be posting these video blogs in YouTube. So I want to ask you please to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Damian Goldvarg, to my Facebook page, the Goldvarg Consulting Group. If you can follow me and also like me, I would really appreciate that. Now, when I was thinking about what readings to do and what discussions to have in this year, I came up with some books that are my favorite books, and I would like to invite you to read them with me. One is A New Earth from Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if you have seen this book. He is the author also from The Power of Now. Many people know Eckhart Tolle more from The Power of Now than from A New Earth. But The New Earth is the second book. It collects some of the ideas from The Power of Now and go to a step further. So we're going to be discussing this book. We're also going to discuss this other book that I really, really love, Happiness, for Matthew Ricard. And I have the opportunity to meet him at a conference in Montreal, 2008. He came to the ICF and he was one of the keynote speakers, and I really, really enjoy listening to him and learning from him, and I think his Buddhism practices can be very interesting to discuss in this space. Another great book that I love is More Time to Think. More Time to Think from Nancy Klein. And More Time to Think, at one point I was thinking calling this video blog differently, like a space for reflection or something about reflection, because this is my main goal in the space, to reflect together. But I decided to keep it for Pasos. That was the name of my podcast that I had 2 years ago for continuity. And finally, the fourth book that we're going to start discussing next week, and I want to invite you to read, is Search Inside Yourself from Chade Meng Tan. And Search Inside Yourself is a course that he developed at Google. And the idea is to bring mindfulness to everyday activities at work. And he came up with exercises and a program to help all Google employees to be more effective at dealing with stress by developing and practicing different mindfulness techniques. And we are going to be doing that in this program. But when we talk about mindfulness, what we're talking about, what is the definition of mindfulness? So there is a very known author, John Kabat-Zinn. He developed different activities and practices around mindfulness applied to managing stress and medicine. And that's the reason why he's so well known globally. he wrote several books, and his practices are used in many, many medical centers worldwide. And he defines mindfulness as our ability to pay attention moment to moment in non-judgmental awareness. So how will be our life if moment to moment we can be aware of what is going on around us, and we can connect with ourselves and with the world in a more effective way by being present to what's going on and having our mind wondering and asking ourselves, are we in the here and now, or are we just jumping into the future, worried about what is going to happen, or going back to the past and paying attention to things that already happened that we cannot change, that make us feel unhappy or worried or stressed out. Now, mindfulness is not only about meditation. Many times people think about mindfulness as meditation, as a space for sitting and not thinking. Well, not thinking is very challenging and maybe impossible. But when we meditate, we may focus, instead of in our thinking, we focus in our breathing or in a mantra. It works differently for different people. I personally don't like mantras very much. I prefer just to focus on my breathing. By focusing on our breathing, we can connect to ourselves in a much more effective way. And examples of mindfulness is not only when we are meditating. And what John Kabat-Zinn says is mindfulness is what happens after you are meditating. How do you live your life? How do you relate every day to all of your activities? And one area, for example, for me that I know that I'm not very effective is around eating. I eat very fast. So I am working and I want to spend this week with your support and with the support of everybody in this community to choose an area where you want to bring more mindfulness to your life and develop some practices. For example, I am going to be working on mindful eating, where I am going to be paying attention to everything that I bring to my mouth. Instead of doing mechanically and automatically, I am going to be paying attention to what I am eating and spending more time in enjoying what I am eating. Instead of talking or thinking or going to other places, being mindful and by being present and connected and paying attention to what I am eating is going to bring more quality to my eating. And also, I hope it helps me to lose weight, because this is one of my goals in this program too. So this is one of the things that I'm going to be focusing, and I want to invite you to consider, what do you want to do? What do you want to focus on your life to be more mindful? What activities in your life you're not paying enough attention? And I want to invite you to consider what they are, write it down. Maybe you want to fill out a journal. Maybe you want to get a journal and write down what will be your goals related to mindfulness or related to meaning or related to the work we're going to be doing here. You may get a new journal and start journaling and coming up with some ideas and some goals in writing. Because when you have it in writing, it's easier to go back and check and think about what we have been able to accomplish and what have been our obstacles. The second thing that I want to commit to do around mindfulness is around meditation. I meditate, but not every day. So I want to be sure that I meditate every day at least 15 minutes. So these are going to be my two goals for this week, and I want to invite you to consider what are going to be yours. Starting today, Monday, and next Monday, you will tell me how are you doing. And for next Monday, when we get back together, we are going to start discussing the book Search Inside Yourself. So if you have the opportunity to get it through Amazon, it's going to be a great opportunity to start looking at some practices that can be very helpful to bring mindfulness to our life. And next week I'm going to be in Albany, and I'm going to do it from a retreat center, Eastern Mountain Retreat Center, and every Monday I will be transmitting from wherever I am in the world. I think in May I will be in Thailand one Monday, I think I will be in Burma another Monday, so from wherever I am in the world, I am going to be spending time with you to reflect on how to bring more mindful and meaning to your life. So thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to your comments, to your feedback. Please join me, subscribe in YouTube, subscribe in Facebook, and I look forward to being with you and communicating with you every Monday. Thank you for joining me today.